Today, I will be surviving 200 days in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Exactly 1 month ago, I survived 100 days, and now it's time for the next 100. Before we get into this video, I have 3 goals that I want to complete before the 200-day mark. Goal number 1 is to conquer an end city and get the elytra. The elytra is such a fun item in Minecraft, and it's incredibly useful. My second goal is to get a full set of netherite armor and netherite tools. We already have everything in diamond, but let's take that next step up and get all netherite. And my final goal for these 200 days is to defeat the Wither. We defeated the Ender Dragon through 100 days, and now it's time to take on the next boss of Minecraft. I'm KnightCirc, and here's how I survived 200 days in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Day 101 was all about exploring the base a little bit and just trying to remember what happened through the first 100 days. Because at this point, it's been just about a month since I've been in this world. Day 102 starts, and the first thing I want to do is go conquer an end city and get elytra. So for the next 3 days, I sit AFK to get experience so I can enchant a bow so I can fight the shulkers. Day 105, and after enchanting multiple bows, I begin to think if I've already fought the Ender Dragon, I probably already have a bow, and guess what? Now I start to make my way to the end, but I did forget a couple of things, so I went back to our base, and now it's time to go to the end. I return to the village that has the stronghold underneath, set my spawn and set my loot up, and then head right back into the end. The first thing I did was start to get some ender pearls. I then went into the portal and found an end city very close to where I spawned. Sadly, this end city did not have a boat, so I went through and looted it real quick and then went to the second end city nearby. Sadly, this end city also did not have a boat, so yet again, I looted this end city. It was slightly bigger than the other one, which is nice, but there was still no boat on this end city, which is awful. But in the distance, I did see an end city that had a boat, which means we can get an elytra. At this third end city, I followed the same process in fighting shulkers, making my way through the end city, but this one did have some chests, which is definitely nice. And then I made my way to the boat. Once I was on the ship, there was 1 shulker protecting 2 chests and the elytra, but of course I took the shulker out. Afterwards, there was one last thing to do, and that was collect the Ender Dragon head. But sadly, when I was mining the head, I kind of dropped it all the way down, and it's gone. I took my first flight with the elytra in hopes I can find the head at the bottom, but sadly, the head fell into the void. Day 110, and I built up extremely high and took a big flight with my elytra all the way back to where I spawned in. This was very nice. Right here, I unknowingly look at an Enderman, and when I am trying to leave, that Enderman comes out of nowhere and starts to fight me. And I suffer my first death on day 110. With that death, I have sadly failed the challenge of going 200 days in Minecraft Bedrock Edition without dying. But since this isn't a hardcore world and dying is just a part of Bedrock Edition, these 200 days and this video will continue. I then grab some gear, fight some Endermen, and make my way back to my loot. I didn't lose any loot, which is very good. And as I go back to the end portal to get back home, there is XP on the floor, and I run around, and I do believe that this is leftover XP from the Ender Dragon fight because I end up gaining 30 levels from this. Day 111, and it is time to head home. Sadly, I did die in the end, but all of Minecraft survival besides hardcore, dying is just a part of it. I hope you can continue to enjoy this video. Day 112, I am back at base, and this is all of the loot that I was able to get through the end cities. Through the rest of day 112 and day 113, I went branch mining for diamonds. I did find a couple. I then create a new diamond pickaxe, enchant that pickaxe, then combine it with the almost broken fortune pickaxe that I have now. Now it is time to go netherite mining. I sheared our sheep, made some wool from the string that I've been able to obtain from our spider XP farm, put all of that in a yellow shulker box, and it was time for us to go to the nether. After making it to Y level 15, it was time to start mining with the bed, so I placed the bed and went to sleep in the bed, and I just continued this whole process all the way through, collecting netherite along the way. And I die for the second time. I am sorry for dying again. A goal of mine was to try not to die at all, and within these last 6 days, I've now died twice. I made my way back to collect my loot. Luckily, I did not lose any netherite, but I did end up losing my diamond helmet, chest plate, and leggings. So I decided that was it for netherite mining for now. I did have a leftover diamond chest plate and 8 diamonds, so I made some diamond leggings, but I was still 4 diamonds short for a diamond helmet, so I spent the rest of day 116 mining for more diamonds. After I had full diamond armor yet again, I made 3 netherite ingots and turned our sword, our pickaxe, and our pair of boots into netherite. I then sat AFK for the next 4 days so I can get enough experience to enchant our helmet and our leggings. Our leggings got protection 4 while our helmet got respiration 3. I expanded our carrot farm because our iron farm actually hasn't been going because we just do not have enough villagers, so I need more carrots to breed the villagers. The next thing I wanted to do was more of a fun project. So for the rest of day 121 and day 122, I break bamboo, cut down some trees, and flatten out the land a bit, clearing up some space for what I wanted to do next. I spend all of day 123 mining stone. I then enchanted and disenchanted a new diamond helmet just to try and get aqua affinity. I then combine our 2 diamond helmets to have respiration 3 and aqua affinity, so I can mine gravel that was underwater. But that process was not too fast because I do not have efficiency on the shovel that I'm using, because my current efficiency shovel has fortune, and when you mine gravel with fortune, you pretty much only need flint, and right now I need gravel for the build I want to do. I then enchant and disenchant a diamond shovel just so I can get efficiency, and then I go to sit AFK yet again, this time for 3 days to get the experience so I can get an efficiency shovel that does not have silk touch. I enchanted our shovel with efficiency 4, combined it with the unbreaking 3 shovel, and then I mined gravel underwater super fast. I wanted to do one more thing before I got working on this next build, and that was expand our dock and make a little bit of a path around our farm to the other side of the river. Day 130 and our dock expansion is now complete. Through days 130 and 132, I was building this house, copying directly off of a picture, and I did have a lot of fun building this house. Day 133 and I have finished the house. I think it came out looking very nice, and I hope at least one of you can guess whose house this is supposed to be. The next thing I wanted to do was get ready to go back to the nether so I can finish getting our netherite tools and armor. Day 134 and it was time to mine netherite using the same process we used last time. After mining, I ended up with 24 ancient debris. I crafted 6 netherite ingots, and on day 137, I've completed my second goal. I also added stairs in my mine shaft because running up and down with no stairs has been taking way too long. Day 138, and I want to travel, but my elytra right now does not have unbreaking on it. So before I leave, I enchanted and disenchanted until I can get unbreaking 3. Afterwards, it was time to sit AFK. Day 142, and I re-rolled a couple more times. Then finally got unbreaking 3, so I sat AFK for just one more day. And then I enchanted, put unbreaking 3 on our elytra, then put unbreaking 2 on our boots. And since our boots were so weak, I went back to go mine for netherite. I added 1 netherite ingot to our netherite boots, thinking that it would heal our boots completely. After seeing that it doesn't heal it completely, I should have just created another netherite pair of boots and then healed it with that. But instead, I do this. Day 145 and I farmed some crops, and then I went to go and breed the villagers some more, but there was a cat, so I decided to save this little kitty. I saw the kitty sitting there, so I decided to tame it. First, I have a name for our cat we got in the first 100 days, and our first cat will be named Mr. Whiskers. Thank you for that name. After getting some fish, I went to look for the cat, but the kitty was gone. Now that I was finally ready to go explore, I created some rockets and took flight. I first made my way back towards spawn, and then wrapped it up, and on my way, there was a mushroom biome, which was definitely super cool to see. Afterwards, I found this crazy island mountain. Seeing this just made me really believe how crazy this seed is. This is definitely one of the coolest mountains I've ever seen. So crazy. Shortly after, I saw a ruined nether portal that had an enchanted golden apple. Then there was a shipwreck sandwiched by 2 villagers and a pillager base. The treasure map was just way too far, so I gave up on getting that. I explored for the rest of day 147, but nothing was too crazy. Day 148, and it was time to get some wither skulls. So I traveled through the nether until I got to the nether fortress. Once I was in the fortress, it was all about fighting wither skeletons. Here's how that went. And after a whole day of fighting, this happened. I got my very first wither skull, and I just needed to do that 2 more times. And after almost 2 days in the nether, I got my 3rd and final wither skull. Day 150, and I realized Billy's making his way away from our house. But I end up going down into the mine shaft because I need diamonds, because my netherite armor is very weak, and to repair that, I'm going to need diamond armor. So for days 150 to 152, I go branch mining. Afterwards, I went to the nether to get some ancient debris. Day 155, I create 6 netherite ingots and a full set of diamond armor. I then make a full set of netherite armor and a netherite pickaxe and heal our armor. Once I got to healing our netherite pickaxe, it said 38 levels, but I thought it said 33, so I went to sit AFK for 3 days, getting to level 33. Day 158, and I go to combine our pickaxes. And yeah, I should have thought to just switch them before, but I spent the rest of day 158 preparing to fight the wither. I then flew to a nice open land away from my house where I thought it would be a nice spot to have this fight. I spent all of day 159 flattening out the land a little bit and patching up a hole. Day 160 begins, and it's time to fight the wither. The wither spawns, I have all of my gear ready, and the fight begins. On day 160, I have defeated the Wither and completed my 3rd and final goal. The Wither fight wasn't as hard as I remember it to be in Bedrock Edition, but that could just be because I had full netherite armor and a bunch of golden apples, or because the difficulty was on normal. The next thing I did was make a beacon, so I collected the 3 obsidian I need and made that beacon. My iron farm has not been working to this point, and since I want to make a max beacon, I went to go mine some iron. I got about 5 stacks of iron from that mining trip, so I spent day 163 smelting it and organizing my loot. Day 164, and I used all of my iron for the beacon, and I didn't even have a third of what I needed. Since my iron farm was still not producing any iron, I went to go farm carrots, so hopefully after I breed the villagers, they can start spawning iron golems so I can finally get some iron. After waiting, an iron golem finally spawned, and I was so happy to get this iron farm started. I then sat AFK for an additional 2 days, and then when I went to check on how the iron farm was going, it wasn't. The iron golems stopped spawning in the hole and they started to spawn underwater, literally 5 blocks away from where the iron farm is. Like, this is how close the underwater cave was. And when I built this, I had no idea iron golems could spawn underwater. Here's a quick rundown on how things went for the next 13 days. Iron golems would keep spawning underwater, which would not give me iron. So the only thing I can do was eliminate the iron golems that were underwater, and then try to patch up that little cave that they're spawning in. I kind of just did a bit of a random patch because it doesn't need to be fully filled. I believe as there's a block that's not 3 high, they won't be able to spawn. So I was just spamming right click, placing all of this dirt just to create a small enough amount of space that they can't spawn in. Once I saw an iron golem spawn, I thought I fixed the problem, so I sat AFK. But when I came back, there were no more iron golems spawning yet again. So I went to patch up the hole some more. But sadly, there were little spots like this that the iron golems would spawn in. So I had to swim through and patch up the hole even tighter. After a lot of patching, I waited to see if multiple iron golems would spawn to see if I really fixed the problem, and multiple would start to spawn. So it was time for me to sit AFK yet again. And after sitting AFK and watching the iron count go up, I was confident that I fixed the problem. But soon after, the iron count stopped going up yet again. I then did what I should have done at the very beginning, which was place slabs. That would have saved so much time. After that, I really did fix this issue, and I sat AFK from day 181 to day 192, getting a lot of iron for a maxed out beacon. Day 193, and I finally have enough iron to build a full beacon. I finished building the beacon, and I didn't want to just have it in a random place, so I decided I was going to make a nice little background build for the beacon. I harvested our crops, built a dock going to the Nether Island, and on day 194, I started clearing out some land where I'll be placing the beacon build. In total, I spent 2 days breaking bamboo, chopping down trees, and flattening out the land. Day 196 hits and I build the beacon, and then I start working on a build for the background. I wanted to do this so when you look at the beacon looks even cooler, and mainly so the thumbnail looks really cool, as I have a nice build in the background with the beacon. Overall, this took me 3 days to build. There was a lot of placing blocks and breaking blocks, and then a lot of checking just to make sure it looks cool. I wanted it to look like the entrance to a castle. And finally, I worked on making a little bit of a pathway connecting all of our builds in this world. Day 200 has hit, and this is 200 days in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Sadly, I did not go all 200 days without dying, but we still did play and survive through 200 days in this version of Minecraft. And I really hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It would seriously mean a lot, and thank you for all of your amazing support.